Welcome to the Sit on the Street Social. My name's Alex Clements. I'm here with Melbourne Football Club captain Max Gawn. Welcome, Maxie.
Thanks, Alex. Happy to be here.
And fellow Melburnian, Kell O'Brien. Welcome, Kell.
Thanks so much for having me, boys.
Not just Melburnian, just up the road.
Where
Q. Was it Q, Kell?
Where did you grow up, Kell?
I was born in Kew Hospital,
Okay.
but no, I grew up in Lilydale, so far eastern suburbs.
Yeah. Don't know much about Lilydale. They make chickens out there.
Lilydale
chickens.
Yeah, Valley. Yeah, I sort of have a rough idea of where it is. I've just never been there.
Are you a footy fan, Kell?
I am a massive footy fan. I watch far too much football.
It's incredibly expensive to watch football overseas. Do you have that AFL pass, whatever it is?
It's $120 a year.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's not.
For that
oh, no,
Fox
sorry.
pass.
Yes, but when I go overseas, I'm going to just watch one game, and that's why I think it's expensive.
Yeah.
Because I'm normally overseas for the granny if I'm not playing, which is every year bar one.
Which team do you support?
Collingwood.
Yeah, well, then sorry to cut into the game.
Yeah, this is actually shocking timing.
Yeah, do you want live results?
It's all good. I'll go back and watch from the start. That's the hardest bit, though, is that I have to stay off social media, or everything until
until
I
you
can
watch
sit
it
down and watch the game. Yeah,
You've got the experience that we have with cycling.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
How was
exactly.
your Roubaix?
Man, yeah, I'm still recovering, to be honest. Like last night, I feel like I've done a grandie, after all the classics, not just Roubaix, but I have that feeling of I'm still waking up dusty as. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night and I woke up this morning so dusty. And it's just a savage day, honestly. I'm sure you've heard a million people repeat, the stats of how fast we went and how fast we were going before the first cobble sector or whatever. But it really was it was the biggest day the hardest thing I've ever done, I reckon. Hardest day I've ever had.
And we're talking for reference Thursday after the Sunday race.
Yeah. So you're still feeling shit 5 days on.
When you say dusty, what are you feeling?
I feel like I've been out on the piss, but I haven't. Do you know what I mean? I wake up in the morning just tired, super, super tired. But I mean, obviously, the classics, I raced every 3 days for 3 weeks, from San Remo through to Roubaix. So, and every single one of those days, there's no oh yeah, we'll get through this one easy. They're all monster days. They're all 400 TSS plus. If you know what TSS is, that's a pretty solid day. So, yeah, it's just hard to keep backing up for 3 weeks, every 3 days.
When you're in that mode, when you're going every 3 days, what's training like? Are you sort of unable to get the gains from training because you're sort of recovering for 2 days, then it's just match day again?
Yeah, it's pretty different for everyone. And over the last few years, I keep trying to tweak it a little bit. I mean, the ideal scenario is that you get taken out of some of the races. So if you get taken out of one, you've just got instead of just 2 days in between, you can actually put a little block of training together. But yeah, this year I didn't do that. So every time there's a full 3 days in between, I try and do at least one ride over 3 hours. And then the rest of it is just hour ride, coffee shop. You can't really do a whole lot in between. So that month just becomes you're not really getting any better, but you're just trying to try and stay at the same level. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Depends how buckled you are from the race. Sometimes you might crash or puncture and your day is over pretty early. Then you're not as pinned, so you can probably train a little bit more. But if you've raced the full race every time, it's pretty hard to keep training.
I assume doing that many races wasn't the plan?
I think originally, there was probably one or two that I wasn't gonna do, but every year at the classics, it's the same. In the spring, it's the same for every team. Like people crash, people get sick, people get injured, and then all of a sudden you're down to just the guys you've got, and there's not really any way around it. But yeah, originally it wasn't the plan, but then I got a concussion about a month before the proper classics, and then or 3 weeks before, and then I spent 2 weeks just in the house doing nothing, and then went straight to San Remo off of like 2 weeks on the couch. So it was just like a pretty rough way of like, we don't really have any way to fix this now. You're just gonna have to like put the seatbelt on kind of job.
What's the I'm trying to say this the nicest way possible, but what's the mood with no bling? So you've done classics for sort of 5 or 6 years, and bling's been a genuine favorite. How was the mood with no bling this time around?
Yeah, it was pretty rough, when we found out, because also it was pretty close to San Remo, and that's like, he's a real genuine contender there. And like, we know that, and we all really believe in him. And a lot of us actually you spend a lot of your early part of the season thinking like, if I get selected for San Remo, or, when we go to San Remo, like we're going all in for this guy and he might be able to win. So I was pretty sad there for a while. And then, yeah, for the rest of the classics, having no bling there sucks. I mean, typically he only ever really does two of the cobbled classics anyway, one of them being Flanders. And then, yeah, the thing is, when he's not there, it presents opportunity. There's a little bit more opportunity there. But yeah, overall, it was like, we missed him. We definitely missed him this spring.
Yep.
If you were to design your spring, like for peak performance, like what would it look like?
Well, I'd do absolute perfect world. Finish the year with the Vuelta, off season straight away, start training early, Australian summer, into opening go home for 2 to 3 weeks at home in Andorra, do opening weekend, Paris-Nice, and then start the classics at E3, skip Ghent-Wevelgem, race Dwars-door-Vlaanderen, the Ronda, skip Scheldeprijs, Roubaix. That's the perfect. There's not that many races out, but you take those a few races out and it makes a world difference.
It's also just like the mental stress of like showing up to Ghent-Wevelgem and it's like another day of stress.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like you're
yeah.
going out and doing 5 hours of training. It's like you're just like on racing for
Yeah.
corners.
A lot of it is like, yeah, you can keep asking it of your body and your body will do it most of the time. It's just like, yeah, it's all a head game, it's a scary sport. That's the thing. The hardest part about it is like, have you got the nerve to like do the scary bits? Like everybody's got the engine. It's just it's a lot scarier sport than you think it is, or that it looks like on TV anyway.
Was Sunday the scariest of them all?
No, I think Sunday's like, it's more scary like in the days leading up. And then the race itself is never as scary as you think it's going to be. But the sprinters classics like Scheldeprijs and Depana, they're by far the scariest, and especially because it's always wet and windy in those races too for some reason. And yeah, just adds to it.
How have you enjoyed? But I haven't done enough homework here, but you have been riding for Pascal at times. How have you enjoyed that vibe? How is Big Pask?
Yeah, it's actually been really good. I didn't know him at all before the first race I did with him. And he really surprised me with like, uh, it's like, because we're like, if we have a lot of Aussies in the team or whatever, we all kind of like general Aussie chat, like we talk and take the piss. And he's just like fits straight in, like loves to have a laugh. And also in the actual racing sense, like he really loves to ride good position, which just suits me. I love, like, if my sprinter wants to be far forward, that just suits me because I don't like
Yeah.
being too far back. So yeah, it's actually been really, really nice to just, yeah, work in with someone like that. And he's just super keen to like get amongst it. And he's actually pretty keen to just roll the dice as well. Like at times there was a race, I didn't do it, but there was a race a couple weeks ago and he just like attacked with like 20K to go with like 6 other guys, sprint race, which it's a pretty ballsy thing for a sprinter to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't the break. I do
Yeah, he
remember
was the one that Groenewegen won.
that. Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
if you like riding posse, then Plappy is your worst nightmare.
no, it's different because say if I was working for Plabby, I don't mind because I've also done it with say like Mauro as well at San Remo. You know, my job for Mauro was just be with Mauro all day, and then when it's time to go, you go, which meant we rode last and second last wheel for 200. And sometimes it's the same with Plappy. I don't mind if it's just me and one guy, like I can do it. But if you put like 6 or 7 guys around and then you're all kind of in the mess, like only 1 or 2 guys get through, you know? So if it's just one guy, I don't mind. But
Were there times with Mara that you're like, hey mate, like we're gonna get going? And he's like, nah, let's
yeah,
just keep hanging out.
yeah, there was, you know, as you're coming towards the Cipressa, you have the 3 cappies. And pretty much at the first one, we were probably supposed to be like up there and we're still like last and second last wheel. And I was like, bro, like, we've got to go. We've got to go soon. And he was like, yeah, but my stomach's not good. Like, I don't feel good. And we get over the second one. And I was like, right, on the next one, we actually have to go. Otherwise we're doing nothing. He's like, yeah, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. I'm like, man, I haven't spent the last 6 hours, literally last wheel to like, just not worry about it. We got to go.
I'm presuming the hungover feeling as well would come from, and I get this a little bit when you play Friday night footy. Belgium at this time of the year is crazy. And what I'm seeing from back at home is crowds are more electric than ever. The races, the publicity that Pog and Van der Poel are bringing, the gap between Flanders and Roubaix that week, that was a crazy news week. Like everyone was talking about cycling. So I'm presuming you're just on at these big events nonstop. And it's more of a come down from that.
There's definitely a bit of that. Because yeah, also like, yeah, you dream of like being a part of these, like racing these races, and then all of a sudden you're there, and there's 50,000 people on the Quaremont like screaming at you. There's a bit of a come down from that, I reckon. Like it's pretty high energy, but I mean the team does a really good job of like we have a great hotel, we have a great setup. Um, you know, just to make it feel a little bit more like not such a harsh come down in between the races. You know, we have a really good environment with the team. So that's nice. But yeah, I think ultimately it's just like the amount of like races and just how hard the races are just gets to you after 3 weeks, I think.
Any clashes with some Belgian spectators mid race that you want to share? Did anyone help you up the Quaremont?
No, not really. I mean, the Quiemont's like, yeah, you're always going to get a bit of spit and beer and treats and mayo on your skin suit or whatever. But no, I didn't need to unclip anywhere, which was good actually.
Stayed on your bike. Did you punch her at Roubaix?
Did. I did. I had a really not great puncture. And yeah, it was such a hard chase back. Like coming back from that puncture was like, I just got back into the race and Poggy was on on the Shimano bike. So like, even though my chase was hard, I ended up having like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes where I was like, all right, cool. Now I can wait for him to swap his bike and he'll help us back into the race. But yeah, one puncher, front wheel puncher. So yeah.
Do you have an inkling or any idea why there was so many punches?
I mean, people say there was so many punches, but it's Roubaix. Like there's always punches. Like you're never gonna like get an entire peloton through that race without punches. I think just the thing was that like all the favorites had their moment. Like every favorite had a puncher at some point in time. It's actually funny when the interviewer asked Vanderpool, like, after he'd finished, like, "Do you know how you punch it?" And he's like, "Yeah, on the cobbles."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so
There was just
everyone
like
was sort of saying there's heaps, but I don't think there was any more
It's because
than
it was the big dogs.
it
enough.
was the big dogs, and also every tire company had been yahooing for the last 3 months about like their new fat tires, low tire pressure. Things are getting better, tubeless, and then it was just punches galore, and it was also punches that affected the race.
Yeah. I think also the fact that we do have all this really good equipment and everything, it's a lot more comfortable than it used to be, and then also we had tailwind. Like, we were going that fast, like, it's really hard to, like, especially if you're behind other riders, to, like, pick a good line, like, you just kinda where you are, and if you hit the wrong stone, like, that can be the puncher, takes you out or whatever, so, yeah, probably all those things play a little part.
Did you have a buddy? Who was your buddy that you rode the sort of the last 40K with?
Well, we were still in the group with Dries, Yasha, Bob, and me, which ended up, I don't know, I think they ended up sprinting for like 25th or something. And I did like my last like death pull to sort of get Bob through the cars back into that group. And then I did like the last bit. I had like Sam Welsford, Matthew Brennan, Luke Lamperti caught me with like maybe 40K to go. And they like pushed me into the group. But like honestly, at this moment, I couldn't pedal anymore. I was like, I'd stopped eating like an hour before. I was like pretty done. And then Welsford kept like trying to like fix me. He's like, "Oh, what do you need? Do you need a cramp fix? Do you need a?" And I was nonverbal. Like I just couldn't speak to him. I just couldn't say anything to him. So he helped me through the last bit. Um, yeah, it was good to have him there.
It just seems like he's smiling his way through the classic season,
Yeah.
Wilson, isn't he?
Yeah. Did you see much in Flanders?
Yeah, I did. He
Like on
as
TV, he
far as
looked
sprint
unreal.
Mate, which sprinter do you know that will just start pulling for the boys? Like, you wouldn't have seen it in Ghent Wevelgem or whatever, in Flanders Field it's called now, but, like, all his leaders were, like, in the second group after the crosswinds, and he just clocked on for, like, an hour, and just welded it back. Like, I don't know another world-class sprinter that'll just do that, you know?
Did he finish
It's,
Flanders? He didn't finish Flanders, did he?
No, I don't
Nah.
think he finished Flanders, but he did a fantastic job. First cobble sectors into Claremont, he did an elite job. Like, impressive, very impressive.
Yeah. So you were in the group that rode past Poggi as he was getting on the Shimano neutral bike?
Yeah. And then I think it was like the second group at the time. So then like Poggy went back, changed onto like we all knew he was going to get onto a proper bike. So like the group kind of just waited, like, he'll come eventually with some teammates and they'll fix this.
Here's a free ticket to the front group.
Yeah, which is what they did. But then obviously you got to like factor in like everybody in this group has probably just come back from a puncher. So everyone's pinned. Everyone needed like 10 minutes to sort of regather themselves anyway. And then when they came past, our group started going like 65K an hour. Like we were going so fast into Wallers or Haverly, which is the cobble sector before Arenberg. And like I was proper pinned. But Heyman was on the radio yelling, like, just go into this cobble sector in front of Poggy. Like, I don't care
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
I don't, just go in. So then, yeah, I wasted all my tickets, like, getting into that cobble sector. And then Poggy just, like, hit the gas, split it. And it was like, I don't know, must have split into like 8 guys with him and the rest of us. And then we just death marched to the finish from there, pretty much.
Did you see Mathieu running down the Arenberg? Did you get a glimpse of
No,
that?
but the car, it's like a medical car. Same thing happened when Poggy punched it. A medical car and a commissaire car were just parked on like so we're all like unclipped, like stopped dead in Arenberg.
When
So like in the mid, yeah.
when Poggy like throws it down, like How many watts are you doing? Like, what's the like? Can you describe how much he's throwing it down for a Tour de France winner to be throwing it down on a flat cobble sector?
Man, I don't even know because like I'm very rarely right behind him anyway. So um yeah, like I mean the power I did for the entire race, like, is absurd. So whatever they're doing is like, you know, I mean, obviously, like he's very efficient, he's pretty lightweight and everything, but yeah, like he can just keep doing it all day. That's the difference, like the peak is crazy, but he just keeps doing it over and over and over again for 6 hours.
Emin's pep talk at the start of the race. Is he like? Is it calm? Is it emotional? Is he getting stuck into you? Is he
I'd love
geeing
to
you
be in
up?
it. I
Like
reckon I'd love to be in it.
what's he saying? I
He,
assume I assume it's him that's doing the pre-race brief.
yeah, yeah. No, he's very good. He's very calm with it. He doesn't often let too much emotion get involved. But like this year before Roubaix, yeah, it's a lot more like process stuff, like about executing what we want to execute rather than like getting into an emotional response. But a couple years ago at Tour of Flanders, he gave the best pre-race speech. I think it's on Instagram somewhere. Some of it was the best pre-race speech I've had on the road. So yeah, every now and then he pulls out an emotional one. I think it grabs a lot of riders. I think.
I think Gal Plappy was saying that it's up there, but still the track boys like the G up before a TP is like nothing else.
Yeah, the Olympics Plappy did before the final. Tim gave a pretty good one, and then at Paris, like it was like Tim Decker's career of coaching, like peaked at this one moment. It was just, it was the best because it can be hard, like to sort of to make a speech like that land. And Max, you probably have it in footy as well. Like you'd hear it every week. There's a speech every week, and I assume they can probably get old. You're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, we need to win this game. Yeah, Timmy nailed it at Paris.
Yeah, Goody had a theme for the whole 10 years he coached me. He had a theme every single game. Like a Tom Brady or I got a cycling in there once for one of the Netflix shows around Wout van Aert selflessly sacrificing himself on one of those stages. That one got in there for one, but it was, Brady got about 10. Kobe Bryant got a lot. And it seemed almost more pressure on Goody that he had to come up with a theme every time.
But like in terms of he's given what's he saying, like an inspirational quote
Yeah,
from
so
it?
like the graphics designing team would put like all of our heads on the Chicago Bulls, and it's about we watch like the 20 minutes of the Chicago Bulls doco, and then like the theme is how they won their tournament or something.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's
10 years
awesome.
in a row. 10 years in a
Yeah,
row is a lot. And we had to start recycling themes. But it gets you
yeah,
G'd up. It
yeah,
does
yeah.
get you G'd up.
Do you ever go to like what about like a halftime when the captain needs to step in?
Nah, I'm better at telling a joke in a tense situation.
You're just cracking a gag
Yeah,
at
do you
them.
know, we had a song that we always sung for a whole year. The Lady Gaga song, Shallow. The one that's got Bradley Cooper in it. It was like our theme. Again, Goody did a theme on A Star Is Born, and we had to watch the movie. And then that song became our theme. And I made James Harms sing the first verse, Lady Gaga's version, in the captain's huddle before we played West Coast over in Perth. I said, do you want to belt out a couple of lines for the captain's speech? He said, sure. And he went for longer than a couple of lines. He went for about a minute. And then we all started singing, and West Coast are looking over, and we're belting out, in the shallow. And I mean, we lost, but it was fun.
Yeah, was that the game that Harley Reid just went to town?
No, a bit earlier. Game Liam Ryan took mark of the century on me, actually.
We had Jerry on the pod this week, and he was talking about when he first was building out Green Edge, and it's like he took them to the Melbourne Rebels boys,
Melbourne Storm.
Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
And then they did a studio session with Molly Meldrum to like build a team track. Pretty cool.
Is the track still around, the bus?
Nah, but I think, well, it's on the doco, isn't it? Like the footage of them in the studio, like Stewie and Nat singing Won't Back Down in a Tom Petty. That's still like, it's hanging on for dear life, but that's still like the Green Age song. But it doesn't get played too often in the bus. Maybe we should bring it out actually.
Is
No,
it
we'll bring
is
it
it
out.
time is it time to bring it back?
Could be. Could be time to bring it back. It's got to land though. That's the thing. There's actually not that many
You can
Aussies
translate
in the
it to Italian.
team. Yeah.
Is there a bit? Does that like in football? We sort of a new player gets inducted to the Melbourne Football Club and goes through the history of the football club. Is there an induction to Jayco? Is there when you first rock up? This is how we do things. This is the history of Jayco.
Well, we always have a December training camp in Spain somewhere, and I've never been to one, so I don't know what they really do at the camp if they do something like that, but they definitely should. Yeah.
Yeah, you're most likely in Australia, which is probably a better place to be for the Jayco induction, I dare say. Although sometimes Australia hasn't been a happy hunting ground. For example, we don't need to delve into it too much, but Nationals in Perth this year wasn't a happy hunting.
We don't need to delve into it too much, but Max even had the courage to ask the team owner about it on Wednesday.
He was, yeah. He didn't delve into it, did he, Jerry?
He gave you duck eggs, as he should as well.
Yeah, I'm on my own island here, but I thought it was entertaining. I thought Jayco did exactly what was needed in that race. Although I wish you did win it, it would have been good just to tick that off.
Yeah, it would have been good to win it.
But we'll leave Nationals there, Alex.
How Aussie does the team feel right now?
Not as Aussie as it used to, but that's not surprising considering the lack of Australians.
Riders or staff or all or
Yeah, everyone really, but particularly riders. Like they're even, they're not Aussies, but when I first started in the team, we had quite a few Kiwis as well. So we had a bit of an Anzac thing going on, and yeah, now there's not so many of them. But I mean, it's only natural because when you think about Green Edge up until COVID time, pretty much, you had like so many of these great Aussies that have just been around for, since the early 20s, and, they got to retire at some time, don't they? So, yeah, it doesn't feel like overwhelmingly Aussie now, but there's still like that, that core, like, and it gets talked about a lot in pre-race stuff, like this is how we want to operate and we want to have, you know, that be what we're known for, and yeah, I think we're still having Durbo. I mean, he's obviously announced that this is his last year, which is he's going to be missed a lot, I think. But yeah, we've got a couple young Aussies also in the development team, so hopefully they step up and yeah, keep the Aussie vibe alive.
There's still the boys that go to TDU.
yeah, but like no Durbridge and no Hepburn. Obviously, Happy retired at the end of last year. That just feels like massive
We're
vibes.
turning the page.
Like vibed sky's gone.
There's still vibes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it just means that we're going to have to step up.
Maro's a vibe, isn't he?
Yeah, Mauro is the most Aussie Swiss guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
He fits into the Aussie team better than almost anyone, I reckon.
Yeah. Let's talk track.
Yeah.
How do you feel and view and look at track right now?
I mean, I still love it. It's still, it's still the thing that I love most in cycling. But I think the commitment that we had to it for so long burnt me out a bit, and I think also with how everything went in Tokyo, the push for like Welsford and I to get to Paris, like it took a lot out of me emotionally, I think, I just burnt so many mental matches getting through there. And then having the result that we had in Paris, yeah, it's like I'm pretty content with it. I wouldn't say I'm like absolutely dying to get back on the track, but I also don't feel like I'm done forever. I just need like a moment. But I still love it and I still love to watch it. And my partner, Ali, yeah, she's very talented on the track. So I still get to see a lot of the track stuff and I'm still reasonably involved. But yeah, it's,
How old will you be come 2032? Just out of curiosity.
I'll be 34. Yeah, my long-term goals for, I don't know, I can't remember how young I was when that got announced, but that was like, yeah, I want to be there. I'm still thinking I want to be there at the home Olympics.
Yeah. How long does it take? Like, how long before the games do you need to be tapped on the shoulder to be like, okay, Kel, you need to get into track shape now to be riding like the ridiculous times that you guys are riding?
I think it depends, right? Because I feel like I didn't really do a great deal of track in between Tokyo and Paris, right? I just did like the touch points I needed to. And then as the Olympics got closer, we ramped it up a bit. But I think you can get away with doing less because I just spent 10 years just doing it every week for forever. So that block in between, that 3-year period in between Tokyo and Paris, I might have got away with doing a bit less track, a bit less gym. But now it probably becomes like, oh, you've been off the track for a fair while now, you need to start earlier. So if I was to not touch the track in between now and like after 2028, I'd probably need to be like realistically like a good 2 or 3 years before 2032, like pretty heavily invested on the track.
Is Cycling Australia like, hey, Kel, like, you coming back? Like, even for 2028?
Initially, yeah, they were like pretty onto us, like seeing where we're at, seeing what we want to do after Paris, I mean. But to be honest, I haven't heard from anyone in Oz cycling for 6 months or more. So yeah, I don't really know where they're at. But also like I've got my hands full of trying to, make a better career on the road at the moment too. So I'm not too phased. But I know they've got, there's some guys in there still, like Ollie, Connor, and a few younger guys even. They're super, super talented guys. So it's time for them to like really, really step up and be the elder riders in the group and set the tone for the next couple of years, I think, anyway.
Were you kind of like the last of that generation that just did pure track?
Yeah, I reckon Welsford and I probably on the tail end of that. Welsford was also a couple of years older than me, so he spent a bit more time doing it. Yeah, that it doesn't really exist anymore. Like, I mean, there are guys. I know there's definitely guys in, say, Great Britain and stuff that just do track, and there are some guys in Australia and maybe America, but yeah, everyone else because you can't really make a career out of it. Like you kind of have to get on the road if you want to like make ends meet.
But is it also better to be riding road, not just banging your head against the wall doing laps of a track?
Oh, I mean, if you told me you could like make the same money, live in Australia and do track, be hard to turn that down. But, obviously you miss out on doing big races like Paris-Roubaix. So someone like me, I probably wouldn't give that up. But I think there's a lot of guys that would jump at it, especially if you got to live at home.
Yeah. Because there used to be like Kel came through the end of this era of like back when you turned pro when you're an adult, not a 18-year-old, you like, it was like the Hepburns and the Durbridges and the Bobridges. They'd be in this like Oz track program
Instead
for
of
like
doing the under 23 stuff, we're doing track.
more or less, yeah. And these boys were doing a lot of time on the track.
Well, we had a coach us in Melbourne 2012 to 2014 era, Neil Craig, who was best friends with Charlie Walsh, and they both came down to training multiple times, and that is as hardcore of a preseason I've ever had. I've had Charlie Walsh yelling at me while I was on a watt bike, and I was kind of wanted to yell back at him saying I don't ride my bike on the G.
Yeah.
I didn't because I felt like I would have gone pear-shaped. But I can only imagine the track environments of those coaches. Like it would be a hardcore, intense training block.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the most intense cycling gets, like track cycling. And when especially if you're in that program, it's all you're doing and you're just living there on site, just like every day at the velodrome with the same guys day in, day out. But it's the most special as well because like I look back on my time living in Adelaide doing track stuff with the boys and just like it's just the best time of your life. It's so good. You're young, like, just going on the track with the boys. It's like being in a footy team or something. It's just so much fun. You don't really get that in the professional cycling over in Europe, you know? It's just like bang, 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 fly home, and then go to another race.
It's just not as good as a 10-degree Belgium's day with no English-speaking rider on your team.
Yeah, it's like the UCI calendar is so chaotic that you, even if you wanted to build that culture, like, you just couldn't build it
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you're getting called up to this race and that race, and this person's injured. Then all of a sudden you go into here and you need some points. You're going around 2.1s now, and like all this other stuff's happening. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And it takes time to like, you gotta put that time in. If you wanna build that culture between athletes, you gotta spend time together. If the only time you're spending time together is, at races, it's not really how you get there. But it's just the way the calendar works. It's
what
just
about like?
flat
Do you
out.
get a little bit when like say so coming out of this spring classics? Do you get a little bit of that team camaraderie that you can build on the track or build in that?
Oh, 100%. You know, especially if you're riding with, like I said, riding with Pascal for the first time and then understanding like how he works as a leader and like stuff like that. And, you know, like we're just little things like sometimes we go for a walk after dinner and just like talk shit. And that's kind of how you like bond with the guys a bit more, you know, because you don't like, it's like one of the guys does something heroic for you in a race. It's pretty much just like robotic nature, isn't it? You just racing and then all the stuff off the bike is trying to recover for the next one. So yeah, I think it's pretty important to have the time together off the bike.
Where are you based at the moment?
I live in Andorra. I moved to Andorra when I moved to Europe in 2021 and
You
been
like
been
it?
there ever since. Yeah, I do. I love it there. It's a bit of a pain getting to and from the airport, but the rest of it's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't quite got the chopper up the mountain yet.
Yeah, yeah. I need a chopper. We could get the blade.
What's the airport situation? It's not in Spain.
I think there is like a private airfield if you're flying private, but otherwise you got to drive down to Barcelona.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a airport in Lasau, which is like the neighboring town, the first Spanish town when you leave Andorra, but nobody uses the airport. Barcelona, so it's 2.5 to 3 hours to the
yeah.
airport.
Well, that is a pain.
We should talk a bit more track. Max still hasn't quite found his love for track cycling yet.
Well, I've heard he's never been to it.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't been to one of those great track meets. Well, Australia doesn't really.
Where does he start, Kel?
Is there big track meets in
You got
Australia?
to start the Austral. You got to start the Austral.
What's
National
that?
Madison and the Austral.
Okay.
The Austral wheel race is a handicapped race, but it's the oldest bike race in the world.
Yeah, I've got a rough idea of the events.
Yeah,
But I've
and
actually never heard of the Austral.
The National Madison is on the same night as the Austral wheel race. If you go to the Austral, you get to see the Austral and the National Madison. They're like probably the two very exciting versions of track cycling. You won't see a team pursuit, which is unfortunate, but you get the gist of how a team pursuit works anyway, I assume.
When is it? When can I see it?
That's mid-December.
Okay.
Usually 14th, 15th December.
Yeah.
Okay, will you be back?
I don't know. Yeah, no idea, but hopefully. I normally race the Austral. Had a couple of years off, but normally
Okay.
I race the
But
Austral.
we'll go watch Kel race the Austral.
Can you
Yeah,
hook
we
me
definitely-
Can you hook me a seat that's not in the outer?
We can get you in the infield.
Well, now we're talking.
Smoking cigars and drinking beers and punting on cycling. That's what Max wants.
Jerry Ryan did pump up track cycling from his point of view.
Yeah, 6 day cycling is also a whole other ball game. European 6 day cycling is it's pretty crazy. I don't know if you're allowed to smoke cigars in the velodrome in Melbourne, but you're definitely allowed to drink beer.
That's devastating.
Yeah. Let's talk Olympics.
Yeah.
They like start with Tokyo. One of the wildest things you ever see in your qualifying when Porter's handlebars snapped off his bike. Talk us through that. Maybe a little bit about the build up, and then like I think he was last wheel, wasn't he? So like in terms of what that whole event was like when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we all pretty much lived together for 5 or 6 years leading into that Olympics. And yeah, we were more or less undefeated for a good 4 or 5 years of team pursuing there. Couple world records, couple world titles, Tommy Games, won it all pretty much in the lead up to that games, and the whole team was so strong together. Like we were so culturally sound, just knew everything about each other. You know, we put in an absurd amount of hours into off bike stuff, culture, and built what one of the best. It was the best team I've ever been a part of, really. So yeah, it was a pretty intense build up, and then obviously we had COVID, the Olympics getting cancelled and then postponed, and yeah, it was a pretty tough time for everyone, obviously. And then we finally got going into Tokyo. We got a date set and built everything around it. And yeah, then we got into the final, week or two into Tokyo. The team was humming along quite nicely. And then, yeah, qualifying the Olympic Games, Porter's handlebar snaps off. And yeah, we were already a bit over 1K into the race. So we decided to stop and get a restart. So we restarted like half an hour later, but Porter was, you've probably seen the photos of him. Half his face was missing. And then, yeah, it was just brutal, like once they deemed like those bits of equipment unsafe, then we had to start changing things around. I rode 3 different bikes in 3 different rounds of team pursuing at the Olympic Games. So I had my race bike, then I had the same piece of equipment that Porter had, but mine didn't break, obviously. So then I had to swap to a different bike, which I hated in the middle round. And then I went back to my original bike, but then borrowed a set of handlebars from the Canada team for the final against New Zealand. So it was just a mess. It was a proper mess. And yeah, scarred me for a long time. It was tough to make the decision whether I was going to kick on the track or not after that, after putting so much energy into it. But yeah, in the end, we got a bronze medal, and I'm proud of it now. But at the time, I couldn't even look at it. I hated the medal. I didn't even want to look at it. So yeah, it was a rough time, Tokyo.
Rocking up for that not the final, but for the ride for the bronze medal. Like, how did Tim or the boys like kind of get together, like kind of to pull something out of what seemed like nothing, and like even further when you talk about you're not even on your equipment.
Yeah, I mean, we did the middle round and without Porter at this point because he was injured.
This is when our man subbed in.
Yeah, when Big Plappy stepped up.
Yeah.
And we quickly realized, like Porter he was in the best form out of all of us in the lead up to that Olympics. And yeah, we realized we needed him. We really needed him. And then we couldn't use him anymore. So when we got to the final, it was just like Tim came to us the night before and gave us 3 race strategies, 3 options. this is what we could do, turn strategies, I mean. And it was up to us to decide what we were going to do. And the one we ended up doing was literally like the dead opposite of what we'd been training to do for 5 years.
I love that.
But it's whatever it was just whatever we needed to do to get it done. And we kind of just were like, man, if we somehow manage to get a bronze medal out of this, you know, we'll look back on it and be proud of ourselves. And if we just throw the towel in now and go, oh, it's all, not worth it, then, we'll hate ourselves. Our backs were firmly against the wall. And in the end, we ended up with the medal. It was a bit of a rough time. I think everyone was quite emotional. Everyone was quite highly strung, but somehow we got it done. And, feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
So Plappy played a role in both Olympics.
Yeah, let's talk about the happy one.
Let's
talk about the build up to.
So he played a role in Tokyo by riding,
Yeah.
and then he also played a role in Paris motivating.
From what we hear.
Yeah, he might have motivated us a little bit.
It's good to see the boys were listening to Stanley Street Social.
Well, this is the thing, is that I went on like a bit of a blackout. I just was like, nah, I don't want to really be on my phone. I was so like in flow state going into Paris. And then, I can't remember how it came up, but then I think it just got sent into the group chat or something, like this snippet of the podcast where he's like flamed the boys, basically like there's no chance here. They're like, mate, you don't know anything about how we're going. How can you say that?
Was it so far off? Like, were you like, nah, we're the best? Like, obviously we know the result now, but at that point, were you like, we're on one here?
I didn't feel like we were a chance until about 10 days before the Olympics. I thought maybe, we'd be in the hunt for a medal. And then we did like a full race day rehearsal thing in Portugal, and I started from the gate and finished, and we did like an insane time. It was the first time we'd put like the suits on, race kit, everything. And we did a very, very fast time, and all 4 people finished, no peel, and everybody was like relatively in control. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, I think we might be on here. So it probably wasn't until about 10 days before the games. I can't remember when that podcast came out, but it was definitely like around that time as well.
Yeah,
So like we just started getting a bit of confidence together as well.
I mean, like, to Plappy's credit, it looked like it wasn't the build up that we saw to Tokyo, where it was like world records, Com Games, world champs. Like, it was just win, win, win.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the complete opposite. Like in the previous Olympics, we'd win everything into the Olympics and then lose the games. Whereas in Paris, we did not win a team pursuit in between Tokyo and Paris.
Yeah. So
We didn't win one.
What happened?
It was just a combination of everything, of like everything we'd worked for as a team since Rio. And then, a bit of like the right things happening at the right time. Like the guy that was supposed to start ended up just like not being able to. Like he just didn't have the facilities to start. And then all of a sudden, the guy that's supposed to effectively lead out Sam, which is me, I end up starting. It was just like the whole thing was just like kind of backwards when you looked at it. And you compare, like, if you compare the riders on the start list, if you just look at the page and you look at like Sam, Kell, Ollie, Connor against like Ganna and Milan and Consoni, you look at that page and you're like, fuck, if I was going to bet on it, I'd probably bet on the Italians, just from the outside.
Which I'm pretty sure I did.
Max's interest just peaked when he started listing off those names.
Ghana and Milan on a track is just something that is.
It's pretty cool.
I admit, I do love track when I was watching those boys go around it.
Yeah.
The teams for shoot is like, it's like nerve wracking to watch.
That's the pinnacle.
Are you?
I know you're saying the other two events are the pinnacle, Madison and
Are you?
No, the team pursuit is like the blue ribbon. It's like
that's the pinnacle.
that's the top of the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how nervous? How nervous are you? And how do you control those nerves? How do you like? What's the pre-game coming into a TP? Because it is pressure stations.
Yeah, the Olympics is different. Like nothing feels like the Olympics. You can go to as many world championships as you want, but nothing feels like the start line of the Olympic Games. And generally, I'm pretty calm. Once I get on the start line, I'm all good. But in Tokyo, I was a nervous wreck on the start line. And then in Paris, yeah, we just, once we got through qualifying, we knew we were good enough to win. So the confidence was there. It was just like all we need to do now is just execute the ride exactly as we know we need to do it. Uh, but yeah, like I said before Paris, I kind of was like off my phone quite a lot. Did a lot of like, I don't know, I just pulled out everything. Just, you know, was like meditating quite a lot in my room, which I never do, but just all of a sudden at the games, I just to like handle the nerves, I just started like sitting in silence on my own for a bit and doing a bit of breath work and stuff like that, so that when I got to the velodrome, I was, you know, in the right headspace.
I love that. The power, like what expectation can do to an athlete, a group of athletes, so a team. I've seen that many of times, Tokyo scenario where there's expectation to completely blitz it, $1 favourites, and then the opposite effect of no expectation in Paris and delivering. I think it's as common of a thread in sport as you can find. You wish you could go back to Tokyo and deal with that expectation better and do some different things around it, but that's what makes Paris almost sweeter in a way.
Do you think
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think you would go to whenever we next see you on the track, the next Olympics, and if you come in $1 favorites, do you have as you said before, the facilities to manage that now?
I think so. Like everything that I learned from Tokyo helped me in Paris immensely. And I think helped us help the younger guys that hadn't been to the games before not make the mistakes that we made at previous Olympics. So I think, yeah, and I actually think the road cycling helps it a lot. Professional road cycling, you have to deal with that pressure so much more often. You know, when you're racing on the track, you race like however many times a year, but when you're racing on the road, you're racing 65, 70 plus race days a year, and you're dealing with that pressure a lot. Not exactly the same, but a lot more frequent. Yeah, I think the road cycling as well as those Olympics would help going to another Olympics, yeah.
It's pretty cool that you get to go to a games though, like being like Kell's balance of professional road rider and Olympian.
We can go to the games
You can, but
on the road
like,
as well.
yeah, there's something about going on the track though, especially as an Aussie, because you're going to win.
Do many do both? Has anyone done both, track and road at the Olympics?
Sometimes I know Kell, like it's also around places. Like you only get a certain amount of spots.
Garner would do the individual TT and potentially go to the track, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's what he does. Ganna does
Yeah.
the road race, not the road race, the time trial and the track. Some guys do the road race and the Madison.
Yep. Like a Viviani or something.
Yeah, or like a Michael Morkov from Denmark or something like that. But it just, the way it works, yeah, it's all about the amount of riders you can have and how you use it. You know, a lot of the times, like if the track team's like, we need to use one of the road spots for an extra rider on the track, you know, all the road professionals are pretty unhappy about it. And yeah, it's a bit of a fight, but if you end up winning the gold medal, it's worth it.
Use one of the BMX guys.
We'll just throw Kell O'Brien in the BMX race.
Imagine that. BMX is a vibe at the Olympics. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so cool. I used to race BMX when I was younger.
Are we done with track now?
Okay, yeah, we're done with track.
What's next? What's on the horizons? You're in London currently. What's the next race?
Yeah, I've got a mini break from racing now. So just a couple of days off and then I'll get back into training. And my next race is Tour of Hungary, which is in the middle of May.
Plappy's going to
So
be
that'll
there.
be fun. I enjoy that race. It's one of my favorite races of the year. So that's such a good race. And yeah, spend a bit of time with Plappy from May onwards, basically. We do Hungary together, then hopefully a bit of altitude, and then go to the Dauphiné. Hopefully rip a team time trial there, and then fingers crossed, go to the Tour de France shortly after. So yeah, the summer is pretty like chock-a-block. Doesn't really stop once I get back on the bike in a couple of days. But yeah, there's a team time trial on the first stage of the Tour de France, and yeah, just want to go all in for it.
Yeah, would you say how much is what's the short list for the tour currently in the team? Like 10, 11 riders?
Maybe even less.
Okay, so you're right in amongst it.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I still need to be in good form around like the Dauphiné time, and the team always, makes a few last minute decisions. So I'm not going to say like, yeah, I'm definitely going. But team time trialing is a uh, specialty of mine. So
You've
I
got the
hope I get a
facilities.
look in. I've got the facilities in the team time trial. So yeah, and we actually, to be fair, we have quite a good list of riders that can rip a good team time trial.
Is it alike to a team's pursuit in terms of like, are you
So
using similar
so much.
skills?
Yeah. And like being a good team pursuiter or having spent the time in team pursuiting just gives you such a leg up on riders that have only ever done road cycling when it comes to team time trialing. Like there's so much finesse to it that, if you've never done team pursuiting, you wouldn't know. And yeah, it's like doing a team pursuit, but then you got like heaps more time to recover on the wheel. So it's quite fun.
Which rules is it at the tour? Is it first
It's like the
person to finish the
Paris
line?
rules.
Okay.
Yeah. And it finishes up a climb, like a short, punchy climb.
Should be launching
Um,
Benny.
Hopefully, yeah, or Ben or Michael Matthews or maybe even Maro. Or we've got a lot of punchy guys that are good at time trialing.
Yeah, if you want to keep Ben on GC, it's launch Ben, but if you want to win the stage, it's launch Bling, isn't it?
Well, it's the best opportunity to win a yellow jersey at the Tour de France for, I don't know, 10 years more. So there's a yellow jersey on the line. You probably take your fastest option to the line over trying to save 1 or 2 seconds on GC.
Yeah. Are they already thinking about like tech for it?
Yeah, a little bit. We did a bit of time in the wind tunnel in Adelaide in January, a few of the riders. And yeah, the team are sort of doing as much as they can in that space, with the sponsorships that we got and all the equipment we have. The package we have, we know is good. We know it's a very good package. There's just a few little like fine details for each individual rider that races that need to be done. But I'd say it's pretty much set already, equipment wise.
I smell Kell being in the winning TTT team and then getting maybe an intermediate bunch sort of 3-second kicker on the next day and getting himself in yellow. That's what I smell.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
That's
Jeez.
what I smell.
Yeah.
So that's the next result we're looking at. That's the first World Tour win. That's the big goal for the next couple of months.
Yeah. Tour Hungary first. Hopefully we can actually put in some good performances there. I've had a few really good rides there before. And then also having Plappy there this year, I'm pretty keen to I'm sure he is too, like really go after that race as like this is a target for us. Like we can perform here. And then yeah, Tour de France, hopefully.
What a year.
What a year.
That's the best year. It was
Yeah.
summer.
Tick off Milan, San Remo, Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, Oz Summer, and Tour de France.
Tour de France.
It'd be
And
pretty
you
good.
just post up for the rest of the year. Just go, here, beauty. That's like,
I'd like to go to Canada at the end of the year with Bling, but I think it's a pretty like hotly contested trip. Everybody wants to go to Canada, so I have to see
And
how I go with that one.
Worlds are there
Yeah.
this year as well.
Yeah, the Worlds would be cool too. Yeah, it's pretty cool to go somewhere like Canada for a World Championship, I reckon.
Yep. A little quick fire to finish.
Yeah, Max got some quick fires for you.
Mountains or cobbles?
Mountains,
Belgium or France?
Belgium,
Aussie summer or Euro summer?
Aussie summer.
One rule to change in the UCI. What is it?
That's hard to answer quickly.
Do you want an example from a previous guest?
Jensen said that
He wanted to
get rid of VeloView.
Yeah, he wanted to ban VeloViewer. He's like,
I heard him say this.
I want everyone to go in blind to each stage.
So many ways that would be so much better for the sport. Maybe like the whole relegation point system. Just
Yeah.
change it.
Just scrap it.
Just be better. Yeah, just be
Get rid
better
of
with
points. Get rid of points.
Just get rid of it.
Wait,
Like this, like the fact that teams like race for multiples in top 15 rather than trying to win the race is everything that's wrong with
Here,
motorcycling.
Mazzato and who's his teammate? Trenton.
Yeah. Max,
It's incredible how they do it, but I'd prefer to see people race to put their hands in the air than be like, yeah, sweet, we got 3 people in the top 10.
you're speaking Gorney's language. He's got to a point or a level of frustration with the UCI point system that he's now got his own point system.
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Anti-points pro wins. There's a work on the name still, but
Yeah, there's a
It's
manual.
only for wins.
only for wins. Like Liddell Trek are currently like 15th in points for the season, but they're like 4th in mine because they win. Milan, Ayuso, they win. They just don't go and bank points at other races. I like that. Almost there. Favorite race?
The Tour of Flanders.
Least favorite race?
It used to be called De Panne, but now it's called Bruges.
Why?
It's just an awful race. They had to change it because it was too dangerous.
Yeah. Is cycling getting safer or more dangerous?
More dangerous.
I mean, that was Jerry's rule to change, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is there anything you can see on a serious note that would like improve it? Make the sport safer?
Why? Limiting people's chain rings is definitely not going to make it safer. The easiest way to make cycling safe is just put the races uphill. Like make them hard physically, because the minute it's physically hard, it becomes so much safer, which doesn't suit. That's not good for riders like me.
Yeah, is that good for
typically.
you? That's not good for business.
But that's when the race is at its safest.
So for like a Skelter prize, how do you make that safe and still be Skelter prize? Is that a thing, or is it just you don't?
I mean, you can't really make it 100% safe. It's such a dangerous sport. It's super dangerous. If you have, especially sprints, and this is a classic sprint, so cobbles, Belgium, tight roads.
Speed hump. Speed hump got Dylan Grunewagen? Yeah, speed hump got.
Speed hump, road furniture.
I
mean, like the chicane in the finish of Skelter Prize, like 1K to go, probably shouldn't have that.
Yeah. just a little spicy number.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I had one more before you went on a tangent about the rules.
Sorry.
It can't be Bling or Ben O'Connor or Plappy, for example. Who's the person on the team I should look out for this year? Who's going to snag me a result?
Max Gorm result or the top 10 result?
No, I want to win. I'll win somewhere. It doesn't have to be at the Tour de France. It can be a Tour de Hungary, but who's going to snag me a result at 100 to 1?
Oh, this is a personal question.
No.
Personal reasons.
No pressure, but George Bennett got me Brady Gilmore, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Bob Donaldson.
He almost did. He got
Yeah.
fifth somewhere. Where was that?
He nearly ran a podium on Kell O'Brien.
Yeah. You boys started riding then. What did he say? Did he say, I've got legs, start riding?
He was like, nah, the whole race, he was like saying that he was creeping, that he was having a bad day. And he had the best day of his life.
A bit in that.
Where's he going to win?
I don't know his program. I think he does like Tour de Wallonie. It's like a Belgian little stage race.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If he's in good nick there, or
Any of those ones like Luxembourg, Norway.
man, but these races are so hard to like. They're low points races. They're not world tour races, but the quality, like how hard it is to win these races, is so hard to win.
Astana send their best eight riders to those races.
A lot of teams do this. A lot of teams send their informed guys to, small races because that's where you can win.
I'll keep an eye out.
Bob's probably not a bad shout for a top result.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kel.
Thanks, Cal.
Great to chat.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Good luck for Hungary. Good luck for the Tour de France.
If you win, if Plappy wins GC, you win a stage, go to one of the underground bars in Budapest and just have a time.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cheers.